What's up, Grayson Report? Happy Monday! What's up, Daniel, Delalux, D Nice, Julissa, Tyranna, Nerd Report in the house, Matthew, what's up? How's everyone's Monday going so far? Or Tuesday, depending on where you're out the world. It may not be Monday, but did you guys survive Monday? Thank you, D-Nice, for being a member of the Wolfpack for 10 months. Happy Monday, D. Let's get those likes up. Hearts for D-Nice. Thank you, D-Nice, for the support. You are awesome. D-Nice is super awesome. Julissa barely. Matthew goes, it's still Monday on the East Coast. Lisa Boo, thank you for also being a member of the Wolfpack for 10 months. Happy to be part of the Wolfpack. Hearts for Lisa Boo as well. Thank you for the support. Lisa Boo, you are awesome. What's up, Gunner Girl? Bernadette in the house. What's up? How's the weather where you're at in your neck of the woods? Here, it finally stopped raining. But it looks like we're going to have some more rain next week. This weekend, I should say. Daniel goes, my PC says 3 minutes. Jen, what's up? And as always, the Skeleduck is somewhere in my background. Just remind me before the stream ends and I will reveal his location. I had to triple check to make sure you guys could see him still. And as always, Gunner Girls reminding you to smash that like button when you get a chance. Tammy, what's up? Logical Spock. Invisible Rose. Julissa's saying it's chilly where she's at. Tammy's saying it's cold. Matthew has rain. D-Nice is like, no more rain. Well, it looks like we're going to get rain, though, D-Nice. Next weekend. Allegedly. I say allegedly because I don't believe it until I see it, kind of thing. With the weather report. I know after last week, I don't think we need any more rain for 2 years. Daniel, I did see the video, Daniel. Lisa Boo, thank you for the super sticker. And it's the fitness pair saying cool hearts for Lisa Boo. Thank you, Lisa Boo. Tyranna saying it snowed yesterday. We had a beautiful view of the snow-capped mountains. They're really beautiful here. So it's kind of cool to see that. But I have a few things that I'm going to share with you tonight. I'm going to start off with Panda Bear, but I don't see Panda Bear in the chat. Had shared an article with me. So if you guys have an article, a story, could be UFO related, could be spooky, unexplained, email me at graysonreport13@gmail.com and I will share it on my next live stream, or when I get a chance, I will share it. Bernadette, thank you for being a member of the Wolfpack for 10 months. Welcome to the Wolfpack. Woo! Or Wolfpackers. Woo! Hearts for Bernadette. Oh, Panda Bear is here. Yay. Delay Alex, thank you for the super sticker. And it's the cute Corgi. Hearts for Delea Lux, guys. Thank you for the support. Tyranna, thank you for the super sticker as well. Fitness Pear Sing, keep it up. Hearts for, I love Fitness Pear. Sorry, guys. Hearts for Tyranna. Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome. Elaine, what's up? And D Nice has dropped the email. So if you guys have stories, an interesting article, cool video, please email graysonreport13@gmail.com. You can also send me stuff on my socials. I know people send me videos on Instagram or Facebook. That's fine too as well. Thank you, Leia Lugo, for your PayPal. It says coffee. Hearts for Delea, guys. Thank you, Delea. You're awesome. My phone didn't chime or anything. Invisible Rose goes, those mountains do. Yes, they are beautiful. I had to take a bunch of pictures of them when I was out walking yesterday. And it was a beautiful day too. The sun was shining. Might have not been warm, but hey, the sun was shining. Wink Shapeberry, what's up? So I have an article here from Panda Bear, and she had emailed me this article because she thought it was interesting, and it's kind of interesting. Before I get into my main topic here, because I promised I would share it the first thing. So this is I'm gonna butcher this. The Abertosh, the terrifying tale of the Irish vampire. The legend of the, I'm gonna butcher this so bad. Abertosh or Tosh tells the tale of the Irish vampire. Few tales from Irish folklore, aside from the Banshee, terrified me as much as a child growing up in Ireland as the Abertosh. If you've never heard of the Irish vampire, it was one of the fiercest of the many Irish mythological creatures, and it's said that it could be found in the parish of Argyll and Derry. Below, you'll learn all about it. The origins of the Abertosh. Have any of you guys heard of the Abertosh? Abertosh. I'm butchering it. I apologize. Melissa, what's up? I'm starting off with this article first that Panda Bear shared with me through my email, and then I'll get into the mobster stuff. I'm going like a little true crime here, but that's also my passion. But it's still kind of spooky too as well. Wake Shapeberry goes, I've not heard of that. I've never heard of it, so it's kind of interesting. Daniel goes, Aber what? No. Panda Bear goes, Avertosh? Avertosh. Avertac or Avertosh? Elaine goes, I haven't, but interested. Matthew goes, the Irish vampire, that would be Angelus Angel. Cheryl, what's up? Over the years, Tyranna has not heard of it. Over the years, I've heard many different stories about the Avertosh. D Nice goes Avertosh or Avertog. Each tends to vary a little, but the majority follows a very similar tale. It all began with an Irish historian by the name of Patrick Weston Joyce. Joyce was born in Ballyorgan in the mighty Ballora Mountains, which straddled the borders of Limerick and Cork. One of the many books penned by Joyce was published in 1869 and was titled The Origin and History of Irish Names of Places. It was inside the pages of this book that the world was first introduced to the concept of vampires in Ireland. Legend 1. The evil dwarf from Derry. In the book, Joyce tells of a parish in Derry called Slotterverty that should really be called Lotterverty. It's in the parish where a monument of the Avertosh stands. In the book, Joyce states that the Avertosh is another word for dwarf. There's a place in the parish of Aragall in Derry called Slotterverty. I am so butchering that. But it ought to have been called Latverty, the lot, or oh my gosh. Sepulchral monument of the Avertosh, or dwarf. He explains the dwarf was a cruel creature and that it possessed a powerful type of magic. Those who were terrorized by the Avertosh soon had their prayers answered. The battle begins. A local chieftain, some believe that this was the legendary Fionn MacCummel, killed the Avertosh and buried him upwards nearby. The locals thought their luck had changed. However, the very next day, the dwarf was back and he was twice as evil than he had been. The chieftain returned and killed the Avertosh for a second time and proceeded to bury him the same as before. Surely, this was the end? Alas, the dwarf escaped his grave and spread his terror across the whole of Ireland, killing the Avertosh for good. The chieftain was baffled. He had slain the Avertosh twice now, and it managed to return to Ireland again and again. Deciding that he couldn't risk the dwarf returning 3 times, he consulted the local druid. The druid advised that he slay the Avertosh again, but this time, when it came to burying it, he must bury the creature upside down. The druid believed that this should quench the dwarf's magic. This worked, and the Avertosh never returned. Wake safe, bury ghosts, so they are short. That's what I'm getting out of this article. Legend number 2. The modern day Irish vampire. There's another version of the legend that was much more closely linked to the modern day Irish vampire. In this version of the tale, the Avertosh is killed and buried. However, when it escapes its grave, it does so to find fresh blood to drink. In this version, the chieftain goes by the name of Keithian, and he consults a Christian saint instead of a druid. The story goes that the saint told Keithian that the only way to kill the Irish vampire was to find a sword made from ye wood. The saint advised Keithian that once the Avertosh was killed, he would need to bury him upside down and that he would need to find a great stone to lock it in for good. Keithian is said to have killed the Avertosh with ease. After burying it nearby, he then had to lift the great stone and place it over the newly dug grave. Legend number 3, demanding a bowl of blood. The final legend is one that was told to many by a man named Bob Curran. Curran was a lecturer in Celtic history and folklore at the University of Ulster. According to Curran, the real Castle Dracula can be found between the towns of Garvagh and Dungannon, where a small hill now stands. He says that it was here that the fortress of a 5th or 6th century chieftain with magical powers called the Avertosh once resided. Curran's story goes that the Avertosh was a great tyrant and that the people living near him wanted him gone. They were scared of his magical powers, so they coaxed another chieftain to kill him. The chieftain succeeded in killing and burying the Aratosh, but he escaped his grave and demanded a bowl of blood from the local villagers. He was killed for the second time, but he returned again. It wasn't until the chieftain was advised by a druid to use a sword made of yi that the Aratosh was finally conquered. Legend number 4, the Dirg Dug. The legend of the Dug. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It's another that you'll hear told by certain people in Ireland. The ancient tale revolves around a young woman from Waterford who is married away to a cruel chieftain. He neglects her and she left to die a lonely death. Soon after, she rises from her grave as the walking dead and goes on a quest for revenge. This is intensified when she gets a taste of blood. And then it goes the famous Irish vampire Bram Stoker's Dracula. The celebrated author Abraham Bram Stoker was born in Clontarf in North Dublin in 1847. He is best known for his novel Dracula that was published in 1897. It was in this book that the world was first introduced to Count Dracula, the original vampire. In a nutshell, Dracula tells the story of the vampire quest to move from Transylvania and Romania to England. Why did he want to move? To find new blood to drink and to spread the undead curse, of course. Now, although Bram Stoker was from Ireland, it's believed that he drew the inspiration for the book from elsewhere. It's believed that much of the inspiration for the novel was spurred on from a visit Stoker made to the English coastal town of Whitby in 1890. However, many believe that Bram Stoker's Dracula drew inspiration from many of the tales of the undead that can be found in Irish folklore. Other historians believe that Dracula is inspired by Vlad the Impaler, which is what I believe it's inspired by. And then it goes FAQs about vampires in Ireland. We've had a lot of questions over the years asking about everything from is this story true to is there a Celtic vampire? In the section below, we've popped in the most FAQs that we've received. If you have a question that we haven't tackled, ask away in the comment section below. What is the Irish version of a vampire? Now, if you never heard of Abertosh, it's the Irish vampire, one of the fiercest of the many Irish mythological creatures. Ireland, like many countries, is home to various tales and legends of terrifying creatures and spirits. None scare me as much when I was growing up as the one about the Abertosh. Who's the most famous vampire in Ireland? The most famous of the Irish vampires is Bram Stoker's Dracula. However, the Abertosh is the most famous from Irish mythology. And I guess that's the end of it. This is a super cool article. Thank you, Panda Bear. What did you guys think of the Irish vampire? I had never heard of it. That was super interesting. Melissa Smith goes, I thought Bram Stoker was from Transylvania or at least Eastern Europe. I had no idea that he had Irish roots. I may have to delve deeper on Bram Stoker's because that is Dracula is one of my favorite movies, and I have the poster behind me. D-Dice goes, wowza. D-Dice goes, instead of leading you to a pot of gold, they lead you to a pot of blood. Lisa Boo goes, very cool. Elaine's very cool. Cheryl thought very interesting. Daniel, cool and new. I actually thought it was kind of interesting. Never heard of it. Something interesting. I do have Irish roots, so that was kind of interesting to read. So thank you, Panda Bear. And again, if you guys have a cool story, UFO unexplained, spooky, or an article that you find, feel free to email graysonreport13@gmail.com, and I may share it on my next live stream. Daniel Miles goes a lucky charm. D Nice sent the pronunciation in the chart in our chat. I'll have to check it out after D Nice. And I'm going to be like this. Matthew goes, my DNA is Scottish, Irish, Welsh, and English. Wake Shave Berry's Dracula was actually very innovative in the way it told the story through letters and journals. I read a little bit of it, Wake Shave Berry. I never read the entire book, but I should try to delve into it and try to read it. So, considering Valentine's Day is on Wednesday, I thought I would delve into a little bit about St. Valentine's Day. I am going to talk about the dark origins of Valentine's Day, but I'm going to start off with the St. Valentines Day Massacre. I know it's not spooky, but it's something, but it was something that popped into my mind that reminded me of Valentine's Day. Don't ask me why. I must. Because I guess I like to twist Valentine's Day. I don't know, but this is what came up into my mind. And this is from All That's Interesting, and it's inside the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, history's bloodiest mob hit. I know it's a little true crime-ish, but that is one of my passions. I feel like true crime kind of can go with horror in some ways. And it seems like a lot of people that like horror like true crime. So it goes, to this day, the bloody photo of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre tell the story of the grisly gangland shooting that unfolded in Chicago on February 14th, 1929. And that's the grisliest photo, but I don't want to show it because YouTube likes to be pesky sometimes. On February 14th, 1929, Frank Gusenberg was rushed to a Chicago hospital with 14 gunshot wounds. Pew pew wounds, you didn't hear that. But when the police asked who shot him, he had a surprising answer. No one shot me. Gusenberg, a well-known local gangster, was either determined to adhere to the criminal's code of silence or terrified of whoever he knew to be behind the attack. 3 hours later, he was dead. Upon his death, Gusenberg became the final victim of what came to be known as the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, perhaps the most infamous mob hit in history. Gusenberg and 6 other members of George Bugs Moran's Northside gang had been lined up against a wall in his garage and slaughtered in a hail of pew-pew fire. Many believe that the feared mobster Al Capone was behind the hit, which might explain Gusenberg's reluctance to say a word to the cops. But to this day, the perpetrators of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre remain unknown for certain. This is the story of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre of 1929. D Nice goes almost 100 years ago. Wake Sheafberry goes, I like true crime too. Julissa goes, great subjects today. So how the St. Valentine's Day Massacre unfolded. Don't mind the gruesome pictures. Around 10:30 a.m. on February 14th, 1929, 4 men approached Moran's warehouse at 2122 North Clark Street. 2 were dressed as police officers. The other 2 looked like well-dressed civilians in suits and ties, while the driver wore an expensive chinchilla and a gray fedora. They were there on business, but not the kind of business that usually unfolded in broad daylight. The 6 men inside the warehouse were affiliated with gang leader George Bugs Moran. One of them, Reinhard Schwimmer, wasn't really a gang member. He was an optometrist, but liked the appeal of having underworld friends. The others were a mix of killers, embezzlers, and robbers, as well as a German shepherd named Highball. All of them answered to Moran, and none of them expected anything out of the ordinary on that cold February morning. Outside, the 4 unidentified men had been waiting for a signal. When Albert Wineshank, a nightclub owner who they may have mistaken for Moran himself, entered the building. The four men got the signal to move in. With that, the St. Valentines Day Massacre was underway. No one knows exactly what happened in the warehouse. Were Moran's men alarmed? Did they shrug it off as a police raid? In any case, they did what they were told. The seven men lined up against the wall, their backs to the intruders. Then the strangers raised their pew-pews, Thompson submachine pew-pews, better known as Tommy pew-pews, and a 12-gauge big pew-pew, and opened fire. Bullets sprayed across the line of Moran's men, spattering blood, breaking bones, and punching into the brick wall behind them. Meanwhile, Highball howled but was spared from the bullets and was later found by police alive, tied to a car bumper nearby. They must like animals. The attack ended as quickly as it started. The killers left the building and disappeared into the wind. Back in the warehouse, 6 of Moran's men lay dead. Albert Kakalek, Adam Hare, Wineshank, Schwimmer, John May, and Peter Gusenberg. Peter's brother, Frank Gusenberg, died later that day. The likely target, however, escaped the incident entirely. Moran himself never made it to the warehouse that morning. But with everyone dead and no witnesses left, other concrete details about the shooting remain few and far between. To this day, we mostly just have the grisly photos of the St. Valentines Day Massacre to give us some clue as to what exactly happened inside the warehouse. Bernadette goes, that's a lot of pew-pews. Wendy goes, Tommy Pew? Wendy, what's up? Daniel Miles goes, story sounds like it could be a story too. Who wanted to kill Bugs Moran? And this is Bugs Moran. The only picture I can show on this article, I think. The ensuing investigation into the St. Valentine's Day Massacre focused primarily on rival Chicago mobster Al Capone, even though the gangster had been in a Florida courthouse at the time. But Capone had a wide reach. He also had a well-known vendetta against Moran. Moreover, the hit reeked of Capone's distinct style. For much of the decade preceding the massacre, Bugs and Capone ran bitterly opposing gangs in Chicago. Moran's men were Irish North Siders. Capone's were Italian South Siders. The two men clashed, often violently, over control of the city in the 20s, especially when it came to bootlegging booze during Prohibition. In September of 1926, Bugs and his men escalated the conflict when they drove past a hotel where Capone and his men were eating and sprayed the bullets with more than 1,000 bullets. Yet somehow Capone escaped unharmed. And I believe this is a picture of Capone at 30 years old at the time of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Eventually, upon hearing that Bugs had put a 500,000 bounty on his head, Capone allegedly decided he'd have enough of the turf wars. He would strike first, and his strike would be fatal. In the weeks leading up to the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, Moran had been working on procuring a shipment of stolen Canadian whiskey, an enterprise in which Capone was also heavily invested. Moran ran his illegal operation out of the SMC Cartage Company garage on Clark Street, which would become the site of the shooting. And on the morning of February 14th, Capone's men would have known to find Moran's men there and had a motive to kill them. But it's likely that Moran was the ultimate target. In fact, Moran had been at the scene, but he'd simply arrived late. Upon seeing the police car outside, Moran turned and walked the other way. He got a coffee and running into one of his associates told him to avoid the garage because it looked like the police were raiding it. All the while, Moran had no idea that someone had just murdered 7 of his men. While Moran escaped, whoever killed his men had accomplished one goal. Moran's grip on power weakened after the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. His days as one of Chicago's top gangsters had ended, but the question of who was behind the massacre remained. Gunner Girl goes, my son-in-law's last name is Capone. Oh, crazy. Elaine is like his associates. Other possible culprits of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Most of the evidence does point to whatever that says, Capone. It looks like the coding came through. Does point to Al Capone, but not all of it. Fred Burke, a known associate of Capone's, got in a car crash and killed a police officer on December 14th, 1929. He escaped, but police discovered pew-pews in his home that were used in the massacre. But Burke, finally arrested in 1931, refused to name any names. Another man, allegedly a low-level gangster associated with Capone, later claimed that Capone had planned the hit in October or November of 1928. Byron Bolton said that he had acted as a lookout on the morning of the massacre. His job was to give a signal once Moran arrived. Bolton thought he saw Moran, so he gave the signal. It's likely that he mistook Albert Weinshank for the gang leader. I wonder what Albert Weinshank looks like. I'm out of curiosity. What does he look like? He must somehow look like him. For his part, Moran had no doubts about who was responsible. Only Capone kills like that, he said. But was Capone responsible for the St. Valentine's Day Massacre? Not everyone thinks so. After all, Moran and his men had more than one enemy. First of all, the shooters had worn police uniforms. Could the explanation simply be that it was an attack by the Chicago police? When Sergeant Thomas J. Luftus arrived at the scene, he found Gusenberg alive among the carnage. Cops did it, Gusenberg said. Of course, Gusenberg had good reason to think that. He had assumed that the men in front of the garage were policemen, just as Moran had. Investigators initially dismissed this possibility, but later wondered if it could be sound. Apparently, Moran and his men had stolen bootleg liquor from a crooked cop. Could the St. Valentine's Day Massacre be retaliation? But if so, why had the attackers left money, thousands of dollars, in the pockets of their victims? One theory eyed the Purple Gang, a Detroit-based gang with whom Capone had ties. Another suggested a political motive, as Capone and Moran had supported different candidates in a recent aldermanic election. Some suspected that Moran himself had ordered the hit, perhaps because he'd grown irritated with the Gusenberg brothers. Others thought that the Gusenberg brothers may have been the target because they killed a young firefighter and his family wanted revenge. I can name 50 motives for this crime, grumbled David Stanbury, the lead investigator for the state attorney's office, and yet investigators kept circling back to Capone. It wasn't only that Capone had motive and means. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre was violent and shocking in a way that had become Capone's trademark. And this put significant pressure on officials to crack down on gang activity in Chicago. In many ways, the massacre marked the beginning of the end of a certain Wild West period in the underworld of Chicago, even the country as a whole. From coast to coast, people suddenly seemed to be reaching the conclusion that a line had been crossed, that the violence had become too much to bear, said Capone biographer Jonathan Eeg. But still, Capone was never charged in connection with the massacre. Nevertheless, investigators could get public enemy number one for that. Then they were determined to get him for something else. Daniel Miles goes, crazy what people do even in the beginning of history. True. In the end, it was actually a mundane white-collar crime that brought down the mighty Al Capone. On October 18th of 1931, he was convicted of income tax evasion and soon sentenced to 11 years in prison. He was eventually released early in 1939, but by that point, he was already slipping into a long period of poor health, largely due to syphilis. He died of cardiac arrest in 1947 at the age of 48. To the end, authorities never got anything out of him or his men about the blood-soaked shooting that occurred in that Chicago warehouse all those years ago. To this day, the St. Valentines Day Massacre remains unsolved. So what do you got? Do you guys think Capone did it? Or do you think Moran did it? Because those two theories are very plausible. That Moran had a hit out on his own men because he got tired of the brothers. Elaine goes, did Capone end up in Alcatraz? I think he did. He did. Paul, what's up? Wake Shapeberry goes, I think he did. Bernadette thinks Dracula did it. Daniel Miles, I've been to Alcatraz. I've never been to Alcatraz. I've seen it, but I've never actually been on the island. Panda Bear doesn't know. Cheryl King goes, can't say which one did it. They both had motives. Wake Shaper goes, he said his cell was haunted. Tyranna thinks he did it. Julissa goes, yes, he was at Alcatraz for a little bit. I think Al Capone did it. I think both are plausible. I think it could either been Al Capone did it because he wanted control of the streets. And it's very plausible that Moran could have done it too because he was just tired. Elaine goes, I think if he didn't do it, he had a hand in it. Brandon, what's up? Melissa Smith goes, I helped Kirk Russell escape. But that was a super interesting article. They spared the dog, which was good. And there was police cars in front. So they were thinking they also had that maybe it was a police hit and not have anything to do with the mob. Brandon goes, more like Al Capone. I think, hold on, let me look it up. Let me see. I could have sworn. The Mob Museum that's in oh, they have a picture of the Oh, no way. Here, I'll show you this. The Mob Museum that's in downtown Las Vegas actually has a piece of the wall from the piece of the wall that has the the bullet the pew holes in it. I'll show you. Hold on, let me see if I can find that article. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. So the Mob Museum that's in downtown Vegas, I haven't been in it, but I've seen it from afar. and I didn't know it was actually there, and when I saw it, I got starstruck. Um, but they actually have the wall there from that warehouse. And it shows, like, it shows the dog, Highball. So maybe one of these days I will pay a visit to the Mob Museum. Now I'm like, because that's super cool, actually. Jen goes, "Does the pew pew have odors?" Daniel goes, "Say hello to my little friend." Matthew, have seen videos of that place. And then, if so, do you think this wall that was in that warehouse would do you think it would be haunted because of what had happened? Because of because a lot of people lost their lives up against this wall. So I would think there would be, not saying that it is, but would you think that there's a possibility that it could be haunted, that there'd be spirits there? Daniel says yes. I think there would be, cuz it was a horrific scene. There's no way that nothing could attach. I wouldn't say that nothing wouldn't attach itself to this wall. Wendy goes plausible. Tyrana goes, I think it would be. Joanne goes, sure to be some vibes there. Daniel goes, embedded in the walls or something. Like, Melissa goes, mobsters would definitely come back from the afterlife to get some revenge. Wendy goes, I need a jump scare. I wouldn't think any of those souls would be able to rest. Because they they would want someone to avenge their death in some ways. Daniel goes, Wendy, there's a bear on your front porch. I do have a jump scare planned, but for later. I probably shouldn't have told you that. Now you're gonna be. Wendy goes, after death entities. I want to believe. I think there would be something. There would be something there. And it probably would reveal its secrets too. Only that wall knows what happened, and the dog Highball knows what happened that fateful day. And I'm wondering why they chose Valentine's Day out of all days. Daniel goes, after my mom passed away, I still felt this hand on the back of my shoulder where she used to always touch me. Matthew goes, or they will be someplace else. Maybe they wanted to make a statement, so that's why they chose Valentine's Day. That's just a weird day, I feel, to choose to, unless they wanted to be known in history. But that, to me, that's like just a weird day to choose. All right, boss. We're going to do it on February 14th. Joanne goes, was it called Valentine's Day? Yes. I do have a little article about. Oh, did I delete it? I did. What? Hold on, I gotta find it again. I do have an article that I'm gonna go into. I clicked off of it. Brandon goes, maybe because more people go out to eat that day. I don't know if they did back then, though. D Nice goes, did you see Valentine, the horror mystery? It sounds familiar. D Nice, I probably have. I just don't remember it. So I do have an article that also ties in, and this is from the Elist, LAist, the dark origins of the Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day is a time to celebrate romance and love and kissy face filthy. But the origins of the festival of candy and cupids are actually dark, bloody, and a bit muddled. Though no one has pinpointed the exact origins of the holiday, one place to start is ancient Rome. The Roman celebrations were violent. From February 13th to 15th, the Romans celebrated the feast of Luper. I know how to pronounce it, and I'm going to pronounce it wrong. Luper. I've heard. Oh my god, I know how to pronounce it because I've heard it before, but I can't. Luper. Calia. The men sacrificed a goat and a dog, then whipped women with the hides of the animals they had just slain. That sounds romantic. That's just what I want. What? Oh, I liked my Bloody Valentine. I liked both of them, the original and the remake. The Roman romantics were drunk. They were naked. Noel Lenski, now a religious study professor at Yale University, told NPR in 2011. Young women would line up for the men to hit them, Lenski said. They believed this would make them fertile. The brutal feat included a matchmaking lottery in which young men drew the names of women from a jar. The couple would then be coupled up for the duration of the festival, or no longer if the match was right, or longer if the match was right. The ancient Romans may also be responsible for the name of our modern day of love. Emperor Claudius II executed two men, both named Valentine, on February 14th of different years in the 3rd century. Their martyrdom was honored by the Catholic Church with the celebration of St. Valentine's Day. As the holiday spread, it evolved. Later, Pope Gelasius the first muddled things in the 5th century by combining St. Valentine's Day with Lupercalia to expel the pagan rituals. But the festival was more of a theatrical interpretation of what it had once been. Lenski added it was a little more of a drunken revel, but the Christians put clothes back on it. That didn't stop it from being a day of fertility and love. Around the same time, the Normans celebrated Galantin's Day. Or Galantin Day. Galantin meant lover of women. That was likely confused with St. Valentine's Day at some point, in part because they sound alike. As the years went on, the holiday grew sweeter. Chaucer and Shakespeare romanticized it in their works, and it gained popularity through Britain and the rest of of Europe. Handmade paper cards became the token du jour in the Middle Ages. Eventually, the tradition made its way to the New World. The Industrial Revolution ushered in factories made cards in the 19th century, and in 1913, Hallmark cards of Kansas City, Montana began mass producing Valentines. February was not February has not been the same since. I did not know that. Holy crap, that's kind of cool. In 1913, that's when the Hallmark cards started producing Valentines. Whoa, super cool. I Need to Fish hates Valentine's Day. How we celebrate now. Today, the holiday is big business, but that commercialization has spoiled the day for many. Helen Fisher, sociologist at Rutgers University, said we have only ourselves to blame. This isn't a command performance, she said. If people didn't want to buy Hallmark cards, they would not be bought, and Hallmark would go out of business. And so the celebration of Valentine's Day goes on. In varied ways, many will break the bank buying jewelry and flowers for their beloveds. Some will celebrate in a sad that Single Awareness Day's way, dining alone and binging on self-gifted chocolates, while others will find a way to make peace with the singlehood in a society that wants everyone to partner up. That article is kind of cool. It started off romantically. I don't think that was romantic. Do you guys think that's romantic, being slapped with animal hide? I also have another article about Valentine's Day too. I'd like to share that kind of shows different. Cheryl goes, not romantic. Gunner Girl, no, it's awful. Elaine, not so much. Wendy goes, nope. D Nice, nope. Tyrana is like, nope. Melissa goes, I don't judge. This one is from the History Channel, which is the history of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day occurs every February 14th. In 2024, Valentine's Day falls on a Wednesday. Across the United States and in other places around the world, candy, flowers, and gifts are exchanged between loved ones, all in the name of St. Valentine. But who is this mysterious saint, and where did these traditions come from? Find out about the meaning and history of Valentine's Day from the ancient Roman ritual of Lupercalia, which we read in the previous article, that welcomed spring to the card-giving customers of Victorian England. The legend of St. Valentine. Where did Valentine's Day originate from? The history of the holiday and the story of its patron saint is shrouded in mystery. We do know that February has long been celebrated as a month of romance, and that St. Valentine's Day, as we know it today, contains vestige of both Christian and ancient Roman tradition. But who was St. Valentine, and how did he become associated with this ancient rite? The Catholic Church recognizes at least 3 different saints named Valentine or Valentinus, all of whom were murdered. One legend contends that Valentine was a priest who served during the 3rd century in Rome. When Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families, he outlawed marriage for young men. Valentine, realizing the injustice of the decree, defied Claudius and continued to perform marriages for young lovers in secret. When Valentine's actions were discovered, Claudius ordered that he be put to death. Still, others insist that it was St. Valentine of Terni, a bishop, who was the true namesake of the holiday. He too was beheaded by Claudius II outside Rome. Oh, this Claudius. Other stories suggest that Valentine may have been killed for attempting to help Christians escape harsh Roman prisons, where they were often beaten and tortured. According to one legend, in a prison, Valentine actually sent the first Valentine greeting himself after he fell in love with a young girl, possibly his jailer's daughter, who visited him during his confinement. Before his death, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter signed "From Your Valentine," an expression that is still in use today. Although the truth behind the Valentine legend is murky, the stories all emphasize his appeal as a sympathetic, heroic, and most importantly, romantic figure. By the Middle Ages, perhaps thanks to this reputation, Valentine would become one of the most popular saints in England and France. D-Dice goes, why is there a baby in a diaper chasing me with a bow and arrow? Origins of Valentine's Day, a pagan festival in February. While some believe that Valentine's Day is celebrated in the middle of February to commemorate the anniversary of Valentine's death or burial, which probably occurred around AD 270, others claim that the Christian church may have decided to place St. Valentine's feast day in the middle of February in an effort to Christianize the pagan celebration of Lupercalia, celebrated at the Ides of February or February 15th. Lupercalia was a fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, as well as to the Roman founders Romulus and Remus. To begin, the festival members of the Luperci, an order of Roman priests, would gather at a secret cave where the infants, Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, were believed to have been cared for by a she-wolf or lupa. The priest would sacrifice a goat for fertility and a dog for purification. They would then strip the goat's hide into strips, dip them into the sacrificial blood, and take it to the streets, gently slapping both women and crop fields with the goat hide. Far from being fearful, Roman women welcomed the touch of the hide because it was believed to make them more fertile in the coming year. Later in the day, according to legend, all the young women in the city would place their names in a big urn. The city's bachelors would each choose the name and become paired for the year with his chosen woman. These matches often ended in marriages. I mean, I guess that's a great way to find a mate. Just pick a number out of an urn, or a name out of an urn. Whoa. Valentine's Day meaning, a day of romance and love. Lupercalia survived the initial rise of Christianity, but was outlawed as it was deemed unchristian. At the end of the 5th century, when Pope Gelasius declared February 14th St. Valentine's Day. It was not until much later, however, the day became definitely associated with love. During the Middle Ages, it was commonly believed in France and England that February 14th was the beginning of birds' mating season, which added to the idea that the middle of Valentine's Day should be a day of romance. The English poet Geoffrey Chaucer was the first to record St. Valentine's Day as a day of romance celebration in his 1375 poem, Parliaments of Fowls, writing, "For this was sent by St. Valentine's Day, whan every fowl cometh there to choose his mate." Valentine's greetings were popular as far back as the Middle Ages, though written valentines didn't begin to appear until after the 1400s. The oldest known valentine still in existence today was a poem written in 1415 by Charles, Duke of Orleans, to his wife while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London following his capture at the Battle of Agincourt. The greeting is now part of the manuscript collection of the British Library in London, England. Several years later, it is believed that King Henry V hired a writer named John Legate to choose a Valentine note to Catherine of Velois. Who is Cupid? Cupid? D Nice goes, I thought you were about to say gelatinous, now craving jello. Cupid is often portrayed on Valentine's Day cards as a naked cherub launching arrows of love at unsuspecting lovers. But the Roman god Cupid had his roots in Greek mythology as the Greek god of love, Eros. Accounts of his birth vary. Some say he is the son of Nyx and Erebus, others of Aphrodite and Ares. Still others suggest he is the son of the Iris and Zephyrus, or even Aphrodite and Zeus, who would have been both his father and grandfather. According to the Greek archaic poets, Eros was a handsome immortal played with the emotions of gods and men, using golden arrows to incite love and leading ones to sow aversion. It wasn't until the Hellenistic period that he began to be portrayed as a mischievous, chubby child he'd become on Valentine's Day cards. Typical Valentine's Day greetings and gifts. In addition to the United States, Valentine's Day is celebrated in Canada, Mexico, the United Kingdom, France, and Australia. In Great Britain, Valentine's Day began to be proudly celebrated around the 17th century. By the middle of the 18th century, it was common for friends and lovers of all social classes to exchange small tokens of affection or handwritten notes, and by 1900, printed cards began to replace written letters due to improvements in printing technology. Ready-made cards were an easy way for people to express their emotions in a time when direct expression of one's feeling was discouraged. Cheaper postage rates also contributed to an increase in the popularity of sending Valentine's Day greetings. Americans probably began exchanging handmade valentines in the early 1700s. In the 1840s, Esther A. Holland began selling the first mass-produced valentines in America. Holland, known as the mother of the Valentine, made elaborate creations with real lace, ribbons, and colorful pictures known as scrap. Today, according to Hallmark, an estimated 145 million Valentine's Day cards are sent each year, making Valentine's Day the second largest card-selling holiday of the year. More cards are sent at Christmas. Guys, what did you think of the history of Valentine's Day? Melissa goes, Brits only express this emotion once a year and under duress. What? Bernadette goes, shout out to Brennan and Cuban Cupid Lewis. And I and Cuban Cupid Lewis. Delay Alex goes, interesting. I thought it was interesting. It was a cool article. Elaine, I like the history behind it. Awesome. Wake Sheafberry goes, I'm a Brit and I express my emotion twice a year. Thank you. Lisa goes, very cool. I thought it was a super cool article. Valentine's Day has been around for a very long time. Started out as a pagan festival. Then the Romans took hold of it. With the hides. I guess women welcomed it, but just imagine like picking your partner from an urn, the name, because it said a lot of them led to marriage, so that's kind of crazy. I mean, I guess it took dating, it took the hard work out of it because you're just pairing, you're just picking a name out of an urn. D Nice goes, I said it before and I will say it again. I learned more here than 12 years of schooling. Melissa goes, I prefer an urn to Tinder. Leonore! And it's not really like an arranged marriage either because you're picking names and then you kind of date. That's crazy. Julissa goes, Audrey gets 50% off. We can go pick out a cake after she gets off work. I don't think that was meant for us, Julissa. D Nice goes, I witnessed people married more off Bumble than Tinder. That's what it sounded like, Julissa, and I read it because I was like, what? Sorry, Julissa. Nikki, what's up? That's okay. It's happened to me. Ah. Oh, that's cool. Happy birthday to your dad. That's okay. I've done it before. I'll be like, holy crap, I sent it to the wrong thing. All right. So this one's from Lad Bible. And I was searching ghost in the news on Google and this popped up. And it goes, Dad stunned after catching ghost arm reaching into child's cot through baby monitor. A shocked dad reckons he caught the moment a ghost appeared on his son's baby monitor. Spooky, eh? The properly named William Grave was looking through footage from the baby monitor for his young son Xander when he noticed some strange activity at 6:50 a.m. See what you make of the alleged specter in the video below. And I'll play the video after I read the article. After checking the footage filmed on February 5th on his phone, Graves says he spotted a ghostly hand reaching into 9-month-old Xander's cot while he slept. Grave from Sheffield in South Yorkshire said this was the first night the baby monitor had been set up, as it was the first time my little one spent a night in his room alone. As a parent, you just want to make sure they have had a good night's sleep, which is why I checked the app in the morning. I noticed there was some activity at 6:50 a.m. and we didn't go into his room until 8:24 a.m. as he didn't wake up until then. In the video, I saw an arm reaching into the cot and it looked like it was going to pick his dummy up. I was looking for a logical explanation behind it, the arm in the cot, and I must have annoyed my wife all day as I kept saying to her, it must have been you. But she watched the footage and the arm didn't have her Pandora bracelet on, so we knew it wasn't her. Grave. I'll show the video because like I feel like the rest of it's gonna and I'll finish the article. Watch, this is a different video I'm loading. Let me play that again. Hopefully this is the same video. Oh, this is a different one. What? Now I lost the video. I love when that happens. What? I lost the video. Daniel Miles goes, I've seen a couple of videos like that. Melissa goes, it looks like the family cat to me. So then it continues. Graves has lived in the house since he was 19 and says this isn't the first time he experienced paranormal phenomenon there. He had to put up with so much spooky business, he's written a book called The Lady in the Bay Window about it all and claims the titular woman has been seen 5 times by 4 different people. Graves said, when me and my wife went out on our first date, she saw the lady in my house and my brother worked and school friends have seen her and they all describe her exactly the same. The arm in the cot could have potentially belonged to this woman. It would also be lovely to think that it's a relative that has passed watching over our child. I lost my mom last May to cancer and have since written a book about our haunted house with all the proceeds going to Cavendish Cancer Care in Sheffield, who looked after my mom. It would be lovely to think it was my mom, but I don't know who it is. I just know it's not me or my wife. Hold on, let me see if I can get the video to play again. Let me reload it. Because I lost the video. So guys, it's a friendly entity. Matthew says looks like some blanket or something going down the back. You do see something walking though. Matthew goes, maybe them sleepwalking. Wendy goes, my deceased relatives visit me in my dreams. They do with me as well. Daniel goes, hands reaching from under the crib is in another video. Dusty, how's it going? Matthew goes, looks like some blanket or something going down the back in. Wake Shape Barrier go, I saw it, didn't really see anything. Daniel goes, I've seen a couple of videos like that. Daniel goes, these videos are weird because if it was like being recorded over an old video, the positions are in place that they would never be. But it's weird though. You do see like it looks like someone's walking over. Like you see the shadows. Sorry, I was wondering what Julissa was laughing at. Now I know. I went back. Daniel goes, the video has normal placement. That's the other video that I've seen that are different. So, guys, do you think this video is real or do you think it's fake? Elaine goes, I just don't know. Because it does actually look like something's walking over to the crib. And then you see something come down and then it goes. Cheryl King goes, I don't know. Joanne, oops, I knocked my thing over. I'll get it later. Joanne goes, fake. Wake Shapeberry goes, there's something there. Daniel goes, I think most of these are real, 99%. Panda Bear goes 50-50 with me. Wake Shapeberry, if the footage isn't doctored, true. Because nowadays you don't know because with editing, that's the only reason I question it because of the with technology and everything and how you can edit videos. It's kind of hard to actually say that something's like 100% real. Not to dismiss that stuff doesn't happen because it'd be kind of cool. I kind of like how he's hoping it might be his mom who just passed watching over the baby. That's sweet. But then he's also saying that he has a ghost haunting his house. Lisa Boo goes, could be real, but it's hard to say. Julissa goes, it does seem real. Tyrana goes, seems real. Like, I want to say it's real because it looks real to me. And it could be just someone checking over the baby and making sure the baby's all right, which is sweet. And like I said, it could be his mom who had just passed. But that was a cool little article. Daniel goes, seen lots of videos like this. They don't seem to set up at all. I've seen a bunch too, just various different babies with various, like, I don't know if you guys have seen the video with the crib and their hands that pop out of nowhere. That one is kind of crazy. If I could find that one, probably not tonight, but on another stream, I'll show it to you. Elaine goes, it was sweet. Yeah, I think it's sweet. Someone's checking up on the baby, making sure the baby's okay. Meaning it's a loving spirit, which I wouldn't mind in my house at all. Daniel goes, that's the placement thing I'm talking about, and hands would never be in that spot. It's like they're in weird, like little hands just pop out of nowhere. It's where if I can find that video, I'll show it to you on one of on my next stream. I am not gonna repeat what Wendy just said in the chat. Yeah, but they're little human hands, and they're discolored. There's a lot of them though. There's always one also too where they have baby cans and then you see like a shadow go by. I've seen those too as well. My next video, Jen had sent me on Facebook, and I thought it was kind of creepy. I don't think Jen's still in the chat, but I want to share it because I thought it was super creepy. Like, it kind of made me go like this.
This family found a creepy door behind the wall of their son's bedroom while they were reconstructing the room. This family found a creepy door behind the wall of their son's bedroom while they were reconstructing. Behind a broken wall, they found this door. As they proceeded to open the door, they found a big concrete wall behind the door, and they thought that this was just a waste of time. But even after that, they thought that they should break a small hole through the wall and see what's actually behind
Oh my God,
it.
this is so loud.
This gave me shivers down my spine. There was a whole damn room behind the wall, as you can see for yourself. Inside the room, there were furnitures, bed, and even there was electricity, as you can see a red beam of light beeping there. But oh boy, the exploring was not as expected. They saw this humanly figure sitting right on the bed. What do you think? What was it? Subscribe for part 2. This family...
So guys, what do you think of this one? This loud video that I can't turn down. Well, it was loud on my end. I don't know if it was loud on your end. Oh, Jen is still here. Yay! Daniel goes, sounds like George Carlin narrating. Julissa goes, don't worry, we could lower the volume on our side. I was like, holy crap, where's the sound? I don't remember it being that loud. Guys, what do you think of this video and what would you do? Bernadette goes, was it a squatter? Elaine goes, is he gonna pay rent? But this is like a boarded up, allegedly, a boarded up room that they found behind the wall. Wendigo sketch that they had no idea was there. So it could just be a person, but then I would think that person would move, not just stand there staring at the wall. Gunner Girl goes creepy. Cheryl goes very sus. Matthew goes, if it's an apartment, it could have been split up. Bernadette goes, squatters could get in anywhere, but would you think the squatter, though, would be standing still like that? Elaine goes, sorry, I have a 21-year-old son. I'm deflecting. Wendy goes, buy a house and do a home inspection. Duh. That just reminds me of Barbarian, though. I don't know if you guys have seen Barbarian, but that kind of reminds me of Barbarian. Wendy goes, super sketch. It could be, they could have just, that could have been like a fake brick wall and they could have just had someone in there while they were filming. Delea goes, he may have been mental, but what if you saw that though? If you found like a door behind the wall and then you opened the door and it was a brick and you decided to look, tap into it and then look on the other side and you saw this person sitting on the bed. Daniel Miles goes, I've seen Barbarella. Tyranna goes, sus. Dusty Lane's secret rooms are creepy. Jen goes, maybe if they stand still, we won't see them. Deleo would be call the police. That would freak me out though. If I saw that. I don't know about you guys. If it was in my house and I saw some dude just sitting on the bed, just not moving and staring at the wall, that would freak me out. Elaine goes, there would be a call to the cops and then the moving trucks. Wendy goes, I wouldn't find that. I do research. Jane Fonda was Barbarella, no? I am not sure, Wink Shapeberry. Bernadette goes, if I found a secret room, there better be treasure back there, not a crack. Wendy goes, nope, not in my house. Melissa would be happy to have extra real estate, but what if that person was not... You saw that person, the next time you looked in, that person was gone. That would freak me. I still think it would freak me out. I would be like cool at first because, hey, secret passage. I definitely would be curious. I'll be like, oh my God, this cool room. But then I'd be like, nope, person, closed door. Delay Alexi was hiding behind the door. Wink Shapeberry goes secret passage. It looked like it had electricity and everything, but it was boarded up. That's what the crazy thing is. Dusty Lane can only imagine some kind of incarceration. Melissa goes, a 3-bedroom house is now a 4-bedroom house and haunted. Time to list it. I like how Melissa thinks. Julissa goes, nope, I watch too many movies. I go, I'd be the same way, Julissa. That's the first thing I'll be like, no, this is Barbarian. We are not going to open it, and I'm not going anywhere further. But like, hell no. It'll be saying to myself, I've watched Barbarian. No. Elaine goes, I wonder if there's another way in or out. We will never know. I mean, I guess there's a part 2 to it, but I don't know where the part 2 is. Apparently there's a part 2 to it. Because they're like, stay tuned for part 2. Oh, here's the part 2, guys. I found the part 2. That's what I did. I'm finding the part. I found the part 2, guys. I think this is the part 2.
Previously, this human-looking figure was sitting right on the bed. But what was it? This is what happened next. After a few days, the father wanted to explore the room as they were very curious about it. So he entered the room through the small hole he made. We got to agree. He is a courageous man. After entering the room, there was a rotten smell coming from inside, and it was dark and quiet. As you can see, it looked like a well-maintained room with white bed sheets and televisions and many more. This guy was inspecting every corner of the room, so no doubt arises after that, but he never expected what he saw later. He checked the bathroom, the kitchen,
my God.
but no one was there.
Do that.
He didn't waste any time and wanted to get out of there because he thought he was hallucinating. But oh boy, who was behind the door? Subscribe or he will be in your room. Just as you saw previously, this human-looking
So there's a guy behind the door? Bernadette goes, yay, courage entering the hole. I'm all like this. Because I'm thinking something's going to pop out. Delay Alexa goes, I've seen the whole thing earlier. Melissa goes, it's just a mother-in-law suit, but mother-in-law is a ghost. Panda Bear goes, creepy. Daniel goes, the guy who buys his clothes in the Matrix. Delay Lex goes, he was looking downward. Matthew goes, there's too much there for them not to know that area existed. I agree. I kind of feel like there's like a bed and a bathroom and all that. Cheryl goes, creepy. Wendy goes, I was waiting for the jump scare. So was I. I was thinking something would pop out. No, he said something like you got to subscribe if you don't want to like see that thing in your room or something like that. Tayrana goes, spooky. Jen goes, Casper's room. It's kind of like the thing looked like it was from what is it, Blair Witch Project, how the person was in the corner. Wake Sheafberry goes, can you play it again? Yeah. Melissa Smith, there must be an outside entrance to the apartment. All right, here it is again.
Figure was sitting right on the bed. But what was it? This is what happened next. After a few days, the father wanted to explore the room as they were very curious about it. So he entered the room through the small hole he made. We got to agree. He is a courageous man. After entering the room, there was a rotten smell coming from inside, and it was dark and quiet. As you can see, it looked like a well-maintained room with white bed sheets and televisions and many more. This guy was inspecting every corner of the room, so no doubt arises after that, but he never expected what he saw later. He checked the bathroom, the kitchen, but no one was there. He didn't waste any time and wanted to get out of there because he thought he was hallucinating. But oh boy, who was behind the door? Subscribe or he will be in your room. Just as you saw previously, this human-looking figure was
subscribed or he will be in your room. It's like there's a bathroom and a kitchen too. How do you not know that's there? Julissa goes, maybe it was illegal and they had to board it up in order to sell it. Maybe. It's also depending on how old the house is, or if it, I'm assuming it's a house. Daniel goes, I saw the guy. Subscribed or he will end up in your room. Dun dun dun. And he said it smelled like rotting. Melissa goes, I know the footprint in my house. If there was an entire apartment, I would notice. Daniel goes, just didn't want to pay taxes as they rented it out. Dusty goes, I thought I saw a window. There probably is like a whole thing to it. Elaine goes, dude has the toots. I was all like this. I don't know. For some odd reason, that one had one of those vibes where I wanted to cover my eyes. I was like... It's like a whole, like, living area. Daniel goes, probably had power. They could have turned the lights on and made it look normal, but now they left the lights out and scary. They said they found the door behind the wall in their son's room. Is what the video claims. Wake Safe Barry goes, it's funny how some things spook us. I don't know, it just had that vibe. When I watched the first one, it was like that too. I was like, they might have been, it doesn't say, it just says what they were doing something in the son's room and they found the wall. They found a door behind the wall. Dusty goes, probably hadn't taken out the garbage out for a while. Rotten smell. I mean, the way it looked clean. So if it was something that was there for a long time, I don't think it would look that clean. Like the belt, like the bed sheets looked clean. Like the little red arrows, I was like, oh. And it looked fairly clean. I feel like if it was something hidden away, it wouldn't have been that clean. Like the floors were clean too. I feel like there would have been some sort of dust or something. Julissa goes, it did look very clean. So that's where it kind of makes me feel like if it was behind a wall for however long they had this house or whatever it may be, I don't think it would be that clean. Or have like and a white bed sheets too, and they were clean. I feel like there would be some disarray to it. Jen goes, that 70s show basement. Or I feel like it would have been like a storage thing. So like things would have been in disarray. It wouldn't have been like tidied and clean. Like that bathroom looked spotless. It looked cleaner than my bathroom. Elaine goes, I wonder if he has cable. Tyrana goes, too clean. It's still super cool to find something like that though. Dusty goes, broke into the duplex next door. You never know. It might be your neighbor's haunted apartment or condo. Alright, guys, I have another video to share with you.
Okay, so I got this couch for free, and before I sell it, I want to check all the cushions and see if it has anything valuable. Oh, someone's having a really bad day.
Thank you, Nikki, for being a member of the Wolfpack for 7 months. Hearts for Nikki, guys.
For the sake of it, I know that people drop stuff in their couch all the time. No way. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so I got this couch for free.
All right, I'll play it again in case you missed it.
Check all the cushions and see if it has anything valuable. Oh, someone's having a really bad day. See if there's anything fun I can find in it, anything treasure related. Just for the sake of it. I know that people drop stuff in their couch all the time. No way. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so I got this couch for free.
All right, I was
Before
able
I sell it, I want to
to
check all
find the jump
cushions.
scare that I haven't been able to find. I found it. So that was the jump scare of the night, guys. That kind of, to be honest with you, when I first saw it, it got me because of I wasn't expecting that. I just thought it was the guy looking through a couch. And normally those don't get me, but I think I was paying too much attention to the money. I was like, oh, how much money did he get? And then boom. Diane goes, oh, I hate spiders. Elaine, LOL. Cheryl was like, didn't get me. Matthew, LOL. I could not find that one my last stream, and I finally found it. It was playing hide and seek on me. I mean, it's not the best, but Daniel goes, good one, Tyranna. And it's a big old black one, too. A black old spider. Wake Shape Bear goes, was that a spider? Luckily, I'm desensitized as I watched 2 Spider-Man movies today. Yes, it was. Gunner Girl, I have one more video to show, and I will reveal the location of the ducky. All right, got one more video, guys, for night.
Doctors working midnight shift get horrified after they capture the unexpected on the abandoned floor.
Go in, figure out lights are. Do it. They look like evil eyes. You guys can come with me. Yeah, of course we're gonna go with you. Thanks. It feels great. Was that you? Yeah. It's where it feels like.
Oh, sorry, guys.
It moved. Yes, it did. It did. How do you not see that? Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh, I lost the video. What the heck?
Doctors working midnight shift get horrified after they capture the unexpected on the abandoned floor.
I know there's a better video of this one where you can actually see it. You know what it is? This is in the way, so you can't really see. You can kind of see the curtain moving. Cheryl goes, didn't see anything. Didn't see it. Aaron goes, I saw nothing but darkness. You do see it. If you look at it closely, you do see the curtain moving. And you can kind of hear it moving too. I'll have to find another one of those videos. Or I'll search probably for my next one. I'll find another angle of it. Because that one was the bad version of it. Elaine, I didn't see anything. Julissa goes, I didn't see anything, but hospitals at night creep me out. I still think that he was brave to go in there by himself. Because he walked in there, he's like, that was you, right? Because apparently there was another one, I saw that one, and the other nurse was filming too. So I'll look for it again, and I'll share it on my next one. Because that one wasn't the best one. Wake Shapeberry goes, hospitals at night are very spooky. This was allegedly an area of the hospital that they don't use. It's an area of the hospital or a floor of the hospital that they don't use anymore, or they don't go on. Gunner Girl goes, the curtain probably moved from the AC maybe, but I didn't see it. Like, it literally like moved this way. And he's like, the curtain just moved. I probably should have watched that one fully before I shared it. Dusty goes, I kept thinking, why didn't he just turn on the light switch? There was a panel of switches on the wall. I don't know why. Daniel goes, I still haven't opened that door in this house to the bedroom knocking. I'll just leave it be. I don't blame you. I would have done the same thing. Melissa goes, I would be pissed if I was in the waiting room for an hour because my doctor's on a ghost hunt. It probably was on a slow night that they decided to go, or they were off already or something like that. And they decided to go up there. Wendy goes, I don't go up in my attic. No, I wouldn't go up in mine. Elaine goes, that's never a good idea. Stay away from an abandoned floor. Daniel goes, I don't think about it when it's daylight. Matthew goes, if my doctors were on a ghost hunt, I would say, hey, I want to as well. Matthew would join. You know what? I would do the same thing. I'd be like, can I go? If I overheard him talking about going, we're going to go to the abandoned floor and we're going to check out if it's haunted. I'd be like, can I go? They'd be like, who are you? The attic space or the entrance to the attic is in my bedroom. And I've never been up there and I don't plan to. And I always make sure my closet door is closed because it's in my closet. So I will never go in my attic. I don't know what critters are up there. or other spirits that might be up there. I don't want to find out. Melissa goes, I've never been in my attic either. I just never had a reason to go up there. It's not one of those cool attics though. It kind of just has the ceiling there and you can move the ceiling over. It's not like ones where you could pull down the thing and the stairs come down. Those are cool attics. I don't have one like that. Daniel goes, I would have a rave somewhere like that for sure. Julissa goes, the entrance to mine is in front of the bathroom. I just dust it. My husband goes up there if needed. I don't have the cool one where you know you could drop the stairs. I wish I had one like that. All right, guys, real quick. The location of Skeleduck is right there. It's in between Bubbles' ears. So Skeleduck is right there where my finger is pointed. Elaine goes, I have my decorations up there. It's go time every holiday. Daniel goes, rabbit ears. Wake Shapeberry goes, I had one of those cool attics at my grand's place when I was a kid, yet pulled down the stairs. Those are cool. I don't know why. I just love those. Wendy goes, sneaky girl. Gunner Girl goes, good spot, Lisa. I don't know. I looked over and I was like, here. And then I was like, oh, good. You could see it. Julissa goes, I didn't find it again. Daniel finally found the duck, but I think Daniel was on his cell phone. So he's able to go. He was able to. He was able to zoom in. Wendy had a pull down attic. I don't know why. I just love those. They're creepy. I think that's probably why I like them. Daniel goes PC and phone. Elaine goes, dang it, duck for the win, 1,000,000,001 to 2. Daniel, that's what I do. I have the TV on and then the phone for the chat. I do the same thing. Just easier that way. All right, guys, I'm going to open it up for questions. Do you guys have any questions, criticisms, complaints? Bernadette goes, yeah, I found the pinche duck when you said it. Yay, Bernadette! Dusty goes, we had a cool attic that had a small room we could sit in. My cat liked it. Always warm up there. Oh, that is cool, Dusty. Tyrana goes, my great grandma has a pull down attic. That's super cool. Or a creepy basement. My house doesn't have a basement, but I would love to have a creepy basement. I would have loved to have a creepy basement. Gunner Girl's asking, did I feel any of the... No, I did not. I have not felt any of the earthquakes at all, which is weird. And the last time we had one, not the one we had the other day, I believe it was, but the one before that, I was lying in bed watching TV and I did not feel it. And I usually feel them, but this time I didn't. But no, I didn't feel any of them, which is weird. And the other ones, I was kind of walking around, so I couldn't feel. I was at work walking around, so I didn't feel anything. I mean, which is good. I'll knock on wood because I don't want to jinx us. Daniel goes, can I ask you to plug a very cool radio station for funk, electric, electronic, hip-hop, electro-funk? Sure, why not? Put it in the chat, Daniel. Because it's hard sometimes to find electronic music stations out there. So, yeah. Panda goes, I found the ducky where before she showed where it was. No, I don't. Julius is asking, do I live in a ranch-style home? I never fill them now, but I did at my parents' house, and they have a 2-story. No, I have a single story. Daniel goes, I might get to be their DJ. Oh, that's cool, Daniel. Wake Shapeberry goes, I like a bit of electronica. Panda used to live in a 3-story house a long time ago. Oh, wow. No, mine's a single-story house. So I did not feel anything. I mean, I guess it's a good thing. I think my bird, because I have a bird, I think she might have felt it because she's squawking a little bit. Elaine goes, Lisa, what's the best horror film that you recommend? What's the last one I've seen? I haven't seen any recent ones. I liked Cobwebs, if you have that one. I know I have not seen Thanksgiving yet, but Lewis has said that's a great one. So if you haven't seen Thanksgiving, it's not going to be on streaming, guys, I think until March. Dusty goes, ranch style homes are single story. Oh, I was thinking a ranch style home is like the ranch style looking ones. Or I was thinking it's different. Gunner Girl goes, we lived in Ventura and had an earthquake that cracked the sidewalk in front of our apartment. I had to grab my kids from the crib and stand it. Oh, wow. That's scary. I don't know why. I was thinking a ranch style home was like a elaborate home. Daniel goes, East Coast, 6 p.m. here, dead air. I'm trying to think if there's any other movies that I saw. Oh, that's cool, Daniel. Dusty goes, our homes in Hawaii are built on stilts so they can move with the flow. Lots of jiggling here last week. Wow. Daniel goes, they start earlier than us? Panda has never felt an earthquake. Wow. It's been a while since I felt an earthquake. I think I felt an earthquake maybe a year ago, 2 years. The last one I remember, it actually knocked things off of my shelf. Daniel saw pools get emptied. Wow. That's scary. All right, guys, it was a fun night, but I'm going to end the stream here. Just remember, I will be on next Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Be there or be squared. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed the St. Valentine Massacre, Valentine's Day history, and all this crazy little videos I showed as well. And again, I'll see you on the next one, which will be Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. See you on that one. Stay spooky, guys, and good night, and thank you. If I can find my cursor. There it is. Good night, guys.